and another one that slips my mind to helping with the golf tournament coming up. Have volunteered. Joni, thank you. You see, I don't see your picture, or you're not here, so I forget. You had black hair last time I talked to you. That was last meeting, guys that don't know what we're talking about.
Let's not do that again, okay? That was nasty. For
So
sure.
that was really good. And then with that, I'll give it to Ross to do Happy Dot.
Hi, welcome to Rotary. Welcome all you Zoomers out there, and our special guest, Tasha, will be introduced by Isaac, I'm sure, shortly. Anybody got any happy bucks in Zoom land or in live persons?
Me, I do.
Jody, you're up.
All right. I put my 3 girls on a plane this morning. They are flying to San Francisco, where they are going to rent a camper. And they're going to rent a camper. They're going to drive to Yosemite, and then they're going to go to Death Valley, and then they're going to come back. My oldest daughter is having surgery in mid-April, and she's my traveler. So she knows she's going to be down and out for a while, and she wanted to do something. So they decided, all 3 of them, to go together. And I'm just super excited. It was so fun to see them off, and they're going to have a great time. That's my happy buck.
Great.
I have to have a happy buck because I'm leaving for Florida in a week, driving down. Did it last year. Things were closed up. I don't know what to expect this year. I suppose they'll be a little restricted, but they'll let us use the beach. I know that the beach is open. So excited about that. But then can I weave this into an announcement?
Sure.
I'm still doing Grace Place. I think I've told you guys before on behalf of our club. It's been a really fun thing for me to do. I do have a conflict next week though. Our next meal that we do is the second Thursday of the month, and that's next week, a week from today. And I'll be leaving for Florida on Wednesday. So I'm looking for some help to get that covered. I did talk to Joni, I think is willing to at least assist with that. What I'm planning on doing is I'll get the food figured out this weekend. And that's what's been fun for me. I'll either make some or buy some, get it all figured out, get it put together. So it will require someone to probably heat it up. Whatever I have there, if it's a frozen lasagna, it might be pulled pork, something like that. Get the stuff heated up, salad mixed up. I'll have, tins and stuff, but then get it over there. So if you're able to do that, I know it's a weekday, it's a work day, all that kind of stuff. We're not all retired like me. But it is a fun thing to do. Just let me know. Doesn't have to be right now, but grab me after the meeting, give me a holler. And we'll get you hooked up to help with that.
I'll cover it for you, Doug. I'll cover it for you. We'll just have to connect. I'll cover it for you. We'll just have to connect ahead of time, you and I.
Okay. I mean, if anyone's willing to help though, maybe they could get a hold of you, then Joni?
Yep.
Or you just want to?
You or me,
right.
Before you go. When do you leave?
I'm leaving Wednesday morning. So I will get this stuff to you before then.
Okay. We'll connect. Yep. All right.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Anybody else happy? Happy
Chuck's
buck?
got a happy buck.
Oh, I got my bucks. I said all my stuff.
I'm happy. I think I reported this to the group online, but maybe everyone didn't hear it. Yesterday, my wife and I received the 2nd dose of the Pfizer vaccine. So we are inoculated and we'll be ready to go in a number of weeks. Although I don't think we're going to be going very far or very often until it's really over. But we're happy we made that progress so far.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Anyone else? Oh, Joel?
Is it happy buck time or announcement time, Ross?
It's happy buck, but we can move into announcements if nobody else has any.
I got a happy buck.
Denny's got a happy buck, then I'll put you up.
I'm happy that they're having state basketball tournament. And the Hudson girls did absolutely terrific. But they ran out of gas at the end, but that was certainly understandable. But what a
great season, and we'll pull for River Falls that's still in there, and St. Croix Central for the boys this week. And my alma mater on Alaska is in Division 2, 18-0. So we love the round ball.
All right, Joel, announcement?
Oh, thanks, Ron. It's not an official announcement by means, but it pertains to a Rotarian and a Rotary effort of vaccination. I ran into Tom Borowski the other day at the hospital, and he was telling me about the issues that the Hudson Hospital has had over the last couple months obtaining one of the 3 vaccines. And he told me that he has word that he expects a big new batch. Production is ramped up and there's an extra vaccine. So he expects everyone over 60 who wants a vaccine to be able to receive one in the next 4 to 6 weeks. He expects good news on that front. Just passing along. I didn't see Tom here, so I wanted to just share that.
Any other announcements? Don't have anything else going on, right? All right, then I'll turn it over to Isaac and he'll introduce our speaker.
Our guest speaker today for today is a national youth speaker, author, and resilience expert. She is passionate about teaching resilience to help youth with their mental and emotional health. She lives in Ellsworth, Wisconsin with her husband, Doug, and their 2 cats. Please welcome Tasha Schuh as she shares her inspirational story and message with us.
Hey, Tasha.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. I want to thank you for the opportunity of sharing today. I see some familiar faces, so this is really fun, as some of you probably know my story and some of you maybe don't. So I figured I would just share kind of my normal presentation that I have been sharing with other Rotary groups. And so as we start off today, I just want to explain, as he explained in the introduction, that I'm passionate about mental health awareness, especially as we see so many struggling today. And so according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and the CDC, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, resulting in 1 death about every 11 minutes. And in youth, suicide is the 2nd leading cause of death, ages 10 to 24. In 2018, 10.7 million American adults seriously thought about suicide. 3.3 million made a plan, and 1.4 million attempted suicide. And in total, 48,344 Americans died by suicide in 2018. And this affects all ages. Suicide is a problem throughout the lifespan, and it is a large and growing public health problem. Suicide rates went up more than 30% in half of the states since 1999, and some seeing as high as a 58% increase. And this is all before COVID. So these numbers, I'm sure, are going to look different in the next couple of years with the increase in suicides since last March. And so these numbers are astonishing. And my husband and I are very passionate about helping middle school and high school students build resilience and have the tools that they need to overcome life's challenges. And so in order to share why I'm passionate about this and what brought me to this passion, I just need to share a little bit about my story. And as you can see in this slide, growing up, that I'm in a wheelchair, but it hasn't always been this way. Growing up, I was just a typical teenager who had full use of my very tall body. I played volleyball and basketball and was very passionate about theater and music. However, that all changed when I was in an accident while practicing for my high school's musical production. I was helping with a scene change on stage when from directly behind me, they removed the cover off of the trap door. And I had no idea. And someone told me to move out of the way, and I just took one step backward and instantly began falling. I fell 16 feet to a cement floor where I broke my neck and severely crushed my spinal cord. And when I arrived at the hospital, the doctors told my family and me that I would never walk again and that I would be a quadriplegic. And to me, that was a death sentence. I wanted my life to end. But a couple days later, I actually got very sick and almost received that wish, as I was in a coma for almost 8 days, where the doctor said I would not survive. So when I woke up 8 days later and found out what I had been through, I knew I must be here for a purpose. And so I spent the next 5 months in the hospital learning how to navigate my new life. And as I moved home, I really began my journey of learning resilience, how to recover after a tragedy. And over the years, I have accomplished so much. Today, I have 2 bachelor's degrees. I learned how to drive a minivan. I built my own house. I've written 2 books and even married my Prince Charming a little over 7.5 years ago. And in saying that, today, I love my life and I'm so thankful that I'm here. And over the years, I have learned the importance of resilience. I've had hospitalizations, I've had relationship failures, I've had some hard times and learned how to get through them in a healthy way. And so because of this, I began sharing my story. I began speaking at conferences, any place that that wanted to hear my story. And it became my full-time job. I was passionate about helping people live better lives. And in this, I began receiving awards for my work. I received the National Rehabilitation Champion Award, having been nominated by Mayo Clinic, and also the Hometown Hero Award by the Wisconsin State Legislature. And so I just thought I was going to continue speaking to adults for the rest of my life. But then things changed in December of 2014. At this time, my best friend from high school lost her son, Logan, to suicide. And Logan was only 14 years old. And to me, this is still so real and so raw because I was just devastated by the hopelessness that he felt and that nobody knew that he was struggling. He never told anyone that he was struggling. The day that he died, him and his mom laughed and sang together while they were driving to the location where they were going hunting. Nobody knew, not even his best friend. And yet I understand the hopelessness that he was feeling. And I felt that when I had my accident. I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. But I was so grateful that I held on and persevered and didn't quit and really went on to live an amazing life. And here Logan would never get that option. Logan would never get to graduate high school. Logan would never be able to see all the wonderful things that were still yet in store for his life. And we really thought that Logan was a rare instance. We didn't realize what the statistics were. And so we began hearing, after Logan's death, we began hearing about other adolescents that were dying by suicide and just began to see the statistics of mental health. And were shocked by the numbers in which students were struggling and where the students were ending their lives. And as we looked at all of this, my husband and I just could not sit by the wayside and say, well, I hope somebody does something about this. We knew deep down that we had to try to be a part of the solution. So we began speaking 90% in middle and high schools, and we loved it. We saw students' lives being impacted. Every time I spoke, there was a line of students waiting to talk to me and really share the struggles that they've been going through and how they identified with my story and my message. And it was so, so rewarding. And here's just a few of the messages that we received from students after I've spoken at their school. And honestly, it brings tears to my eyes to see the lives that have been touched by my story and message, because these messages mean so much to me. That's my goal every day, is to help others. And so to see these words just means so much to me. And as we were doing this, the principals were reaching out to us for help. And so we began to do research and realize that, well, I should say, principals were asking us if we had any extra materials that they could use, because there were really very few resources available. And so when I speak, I share the 4 things that have helped me be resilient in my journey after my accident. And those 4 things spell out the acronym PATH, which stands for purpose, attitude, team, and hope. And so we began to realize that PATH was my story, but it also lined up with research, and that these 4 things are also supported in the mental health realm and research of helping those with mental health concerns. And so here's some of the research that we found that supported my message of PATH. It's just a little bit of, we've got lots of research showing this, but here's just a sample that that really supports PATH. And I absolutely love speaking, but it's impossible in 45 minutes for me to give students everything that they need to build a foundation for speaking. And so don't get me wrong, my message does help. And I would love to come and speak to your students in your school district. I've been to Hudson a couple times in the area, but there's lots of other area schools that we've not spoken in. But this program goes so much deeper to give these students the tools they need to be successful going through the challenges of life. And so Logan added motivation to directly address mental and emotional needs with the goal of suicide prevention. And so we spent 2 years creating the Power of PATH program. It's a complete resource for mental health, suicide awareness, and social emotional learning for middle and high school students. And so it's really a mental health program that has the tools of teaching resilience. And our students need these tools right now. It is urgent that they get them so that they can be successful going through these difficult times. And so there's lots of things that I could share about this, but we are honored to say that both my PATH keynote message and our PATH program are SAVE certified. SAVE is a leading organization in suicide prevention and really shows that our program is evidence-based. It shows that our program helps people, helps especially youth. And so our balance between the social emotional learning that all students need, along with the suicide awareness piece, really puts our program ahead of other content schools have used or are searching for. And so this certification brings so much credibility to our program. And so we're very proud of that. And the save.org website says this. It says certification distinguishes suicide prevention messages that have been rigorously tested for safety from other suicide prevention communications that may contain harmful content for someone at risk of suicide. Safe messages matter. And we agree with that. And so we put our program through this program to make sure that not only what our messages were safe, but they were going to help youth. And so we are really excited about that. And so Jennifer Owens also says, who's the program manager at SAVE, she says resilience needs to be taught, and your program does a great job in introducing the topic and giving real tools to prepare for and overcome life's inevitable adversities. But it wasn't just me who created this program. I had an amazing team of people. First and foremost, have to mention Jan Pavlovsky, who's the lead curriculum writer for our program. And she's a veteran teacher of 35 years. And so she was one of my favorite teachers, as she was my teacher in high school. And then she also taught my nieces And she she is also their favorite teacher, just a teacher that really was passionate about her students learning and providing materials and assignments that not only were academic, but also got the students active so that it would help them remember. And so she put all of her years of experience in teaching into this program. And so we've also had many other contributors. We have Rachel Funk Johnson, who's in the lower left corner. She has her master's in mental health counseling. And our pilot schools, we had pilot schools that helped us in all stages of putting the curriculum together and releasing it, and so many others. But I do have to mention Josh Shipp. Josh Shipp is a motivational speaker. He's the other picture I have up here. He has spoken to over 2 million youth. Oprah Winfrey calls him the teen whisperer, and he is also a contributor to our curriculum. And so please check out the contributors page that's on the homepage of our, that's on our website to see all the other people that contributed to this project. So now I just want to take you a little bit into the curriculum, just kind of give you just a highlight of how we put this together. In order to do so, I just want to show you how to get to the website. The best way to do that is to go to my website, which is tashaschuh.com, following that black arrow, and then click on Path Program, and that is the other black arrow. And when you click on that, it'll bring you to this homepage, which has a lot of information. There's frequently asked questions, there's how-to videos, there's our demo video, and also a handout for the program to give to decision makers in schools. And there's just so much more. So lots and lots of resources on that homepage. And once you've purchased the program and log in, it will bring you to the actual curriculum. And I realize that most of you are not educators. So I just want to give a quick overview of what the program looks like and what it offers. But more than anything, I just want you to know, if there's one thing that you take out of this, it's the fact that we have set this up to be easy. Teachers and administrators, they all have a lot on their plate right now. And Jan knows over the years, she's had many books, thick books landed on her desk saying, here's a new curriculum and you're going to be teaching this next week. And she spent many weekends, hours upon hours, just trying to figure out how to start it, what to include. And our curriculum is set up that a teacher can open the website and be teaching within 15 minutes. We set it up just kind of like a paint by numbers. So if you can follow the paint by numbers, follow the order of that, you can see how easy it is. And so for us, we have up on the screen, we have a traditional lesson plan. If you notice, it has just kind of the instructional strategy. You'll see the green links, or they are links. And so when a teacher comes in here, they can just click on it and it'll bring them right to whatever they click on, whether that's an assignment or a video. But then when they come back in with their students later on, they can follow the left-hand navigational system. And so it's very simple, very easy. And we also have scripts so that a teacher who has not been trained in mental health awareness or feels inadequate to talk about mental health, which so many teachers do, we have scripts that they can just follow and that they can know what to say and how to answer students' questions. And so we're very proud of the scripts that Rachel helped us write, and so that we can have the conversation that so many teachers are afraid to have. And so, so we also, with virtual learning, we have a program, part of the curriculum that can be done if virtual learning continues. And we have a vast variety of learning strategy and activities. So there's definitely an academic side to this program, but it also has a vast variety of strategies to get students reflecting, active, and absorbing the material that is in this program. And so I do also want to say that we're constantly improving. Our curriculum is all online. So the great part about this is that going forward, it can only get better. We don't have to mail this out. We don't have to mail out the boxes and the DVDs. It's all online. So with schools using this, and schools and actually other organizations using this and getting their feedback, it only gets better. So we're very thankful for where our world is technology wise. And so here are just a few testimonials of people who have seen the power of Path in their schools. We are very thankful for these testimonials from Rotary Club and a teacher, but we have many more testimonials on our website. And so be sure and check those out if you're interested. And if you want to know more about the results that we've seen and where this program has been implemented, please check out the FAQ section on the website. So before I close, I just want to say how important it is for mental health education to be in the schools. NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is just one of many organizations that advocate for mental health education to be in the schools. And they state NAMI believes that public and private elementary, middle, and high schools should provide and/or facilitate the provision of appropriate mental health services to our nation's children. Undiagnosed, untreated, and inadequately treated mental illnesses significantly interfere with a student's ability to learn, to grow, and to develop. And since children spend much of their productive time in educational settings, schools provide a unique opportunity to identify and treat mental health conditions by serving students where they already are. And so this is a lot of information. And the truth is, I could talk about this all day long, sharing examples of what our program offers, the evidence that shows that this helps students. But I know because of time, I just want to move on to the cost. But please know that I would love to do a free demo with your school district and other connections that you have at other schools to show all of this and more of what our program offers. And I do also want to say, I presented the same program to the Daybreak Rotary Club in Hudson in mid-November. And so as Chuck is here today, they've been helping me put together information to reach other Rotary clubs at a higher level so they joined me here today as they see the value in the program and the need in the community. And so the price, because I shared this with John Ashley, who is the Wisconsin Association School Board Members President. And he said, this is great, but how much does it cost? And I said, well, most programs like this cost upwards of $10,000. And they have a limit to how many students can participate, which then adds more to the cost, to the price. But we wanted to make it affordable to every school district. And so our curriculum is a one-time fee of $799. And John Ashley says, you do know what regular curriculum costs, right? I said, yes. And he said, then why would you do this? And it just came from my heart because we want to help. We never would want a school district to say we can't do this because we can't afford it. And so we did not want schools to, because of money and budget factors, that they couldn't have access to the program. So there are no annual renewal fees for the first 125 programs purchased. And also it covers your entire school district. So that's basically the curriculum. I'm sharing this with you today, really because I need your help. I want to get this into as many schools as possible, but I've found that it's not all that easy to get into the schools. I mean, I speak full-time outside of COVID, but there's a lot of schools that we've not been to. And so I'd love to partner with you to help the youth in your community, really to work together. And so I don't know if there's any people here today that have contact information or would love to help maybe join Chuck and the team that he's kind of put together with the other Rotary Club. I would just love your help. And so thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Tasha, you might have covered this. I didn't quite catch it maybe. Is the curriculum designed primarily for high school level students or middle school or what level?
That's a great question. It's 6th through 12th grade, so middle and high school. And we even believe that it could be, I didn't realize until we I didn't realize until we released the curriculum of how many teachers are used to modifying curriculum. And so we really believe it could even be for elementary and college level if teachers wanted to modify it a little bit. But yeah, our main goal is grades 6 through 12.
You had mentioned, Tasha, that these kids would come up to you waiting in line. What were their concerns? What was their depression? What was it based around?
It's heart-wrenching. I mean, some of these students, this was before COVID, and when COVID hit, my heart broke because some of these students share what they've been through in their lives, and it makes my story look like nothing. I mean, the home lives that they live, the atrocities that they've faced, the abuse that they've had. I mean, that is bullying. Oh my goodness. My husband is sitting here next to me, it's like chiming in.
I even
So-
struggles with studies.
yeah, even struggles with studies, the pressures that students are facing in our country right now of just getting into these big schools and the expectations from parents and from others. And so it's that is what I mean. Honestly, some schools we had lines out the door, and we'd be there the entire school day.
When we went to Hudson, we were there the whole day.
Yeah, when we went to the Hudson Middle School, was that in 2006?
18.
2018. We arrived at 7:30 in the morning and we left at 3:30. We got there before the buses and after the buses left.
Yeah.
And we loved it because
All day.
there were so many students who needed what we delivered and what we're so passionate about. And so that was just an amazing day. And we've been wanting to go back since all of the other students are now in high school. So yeah, so it's whenever I leave a school, and I'll tell you, every school we go into, there's at least one that is really, really struggling, but it is usually a lot more than that. And a lot of people haven't told anybody, nobody knows. They're like, I'm the captain of the volleyball team. Nobody knows that I've been struggling with this. And so we try to connect them with counselors. We try to make a connection. Obviously, I'm not a licensed counselor, so I can't counsel them, but I can give them, the hug and the reassurance that to hold on and to keep going. That sometimes, actually, I just have to share, we met with a student last year from a school district, and she was extremely suicidal. Doug and I met with her for over an hour, and the school counselor had pulled her from class as she had been telling people that she wanted to die and that she was going to kill herself. And just a beautiful girl. I mean, I'm just sitting there looking at her being like, how is this possible? And she just sent me an email about 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
And it just gets me so teary-eyed because she wrote and just thanked me, thanked Doug and I for taking the extra time to meet with her. She graduated high school with her class. She is going to college. She has her own apartment. She has a full-time job. And she just thanked us and said, thank you for what you're doing. And it just, oh man, there's no price to that. It's just so amazing what that does and what that feels like.
How many schools currently have your curriculum?
Say that again?
How many schools currently have your curriculum?
Well, we have to go back and add them up.
Yeah,
a couple just are going to be getting them.
So we've just recently had some
speaking.
schools sign on with speaking.
We have a
'Cause
package.
we have a
where,
package.
If they have her come speak, there's an option where they can also get the curriculum as part of that. So
Yeah, so a few schools, I would say with that, like between like 15 to 20.
yeah, it just came out in January.
Yeah,
of
just was
2020,
released.
and of course,
Wow.
COVID
It's
hit 2
great.
months. COVID hit 2 months later,
Yes.
so that was kind of going against us. But
Right. Yeah. So it was just released in January. I usually mention that. And so, but yes. So, and then of course, COVID hit and we had a full speaking schedule. So I just planned on sharing this, as we went to schools and then seeing the mental health of youth and the schools struggling to stay afloat. I just thought, man, who can I reach out to that helps youth in the community? And that was why I started sharing at Rotary clubs and chambers of commerce. And because, but it's definitely being implemented in schools. We had 6 pilot schools that were in our original pilot program. And then so yeah, and it's been, and I do want to mention, because a lot of people have been asking, is your curriculum evidence-based? And I know that's a big thing within school districts and kind of within the whole realm of this. And I want to say yes. We've actually been kind of floundering and being like, is it evidence-based? Is it not? Because it's so new. But the reason why we really feel that we can say yes is because what we use in our curriculum are things from in the mental health realm of CBT and DBT, which are forms of therapy that have been used for years. We also use resources from CDC, from NAMI, from SAVE, all these organizations that have been around for years. And so we feel that we don't have the stamp of that yet, because obviously it takes time to get that. But we do, I mean, I was just going through our bibliography, our resources that we use for the curriculum today, and it's extensive of the research that we put into our program and what we have to back it up. So if any of you would be interested in that, I'd be more than willing to send that over.
So Tasha, one question I have, the first time I heard you speak, my daughter wasn't even walking yet. And now my daughter is a full-on teenager. So as a parent, you speak to this age group, and as a parent who now has a child in this age group, one of my fears, as I imagine a lot of parents' fears, is missing the signal, missing the signs of a child really who's having a struggle. So really 2 questions is, what are some of the things that we can watch out for as parents, and just even, people who might know other young people. But also the second question is, does the curriculum speak to those students, whether they're having issues or not, proactively to say, hey, if you have any sort of questions, reach out.
Exactly. So yes. So thank you for those questions. So to answer your first question, which I'm now trying to remember. I got so passionate about the second question.
Maybe you should answer the second one first.
Yeah. Okay. So the second, let me answer the second question first. Yes. So yes, our curriculum really starts off with a foundation building. So it starts off in more the social emotional learning aspects of what is your purpose? Why are you here? What are some gifts and talents that you have? How can you find purpose now? How do you know? And really just building up the fact that they are important, that their life is valuable. And then it goes into attitude, which is a huge aspect of being grateful, focusing on the good, and really helping those who are struggling with depression, but also giving the tools to those students who haven't experienced depression yet. Because they say 1 in 5 people experience a mental illness in their life. And I think, honestly, I think it's all of us. I think those numbers are skewed in a way because we all go through difficulties and we all handle them a different way. And so attitude is a huge way to help people struggling with depression to know that that our biggest battle is right here between our 2 ears, and to know how to work through those things. And then T is for team, which is how can you ask for help? How do you know who you can reach out to? Who is part of your team? We call it the pit crew team, and it's an analogy from NASCAR, because the driver in NASCAR never feels guilty about asking their team to help. It's just their team is there. That's what they're there for. And so we explain that we need each other. And that's a huge part of equipping the students that are struggling and those who are not to know whether they're feeling this now or it's later in life, that they're never alone, that people care about them and they want them to reach out and say, hey, I'm not okay. I need help. And so that's a huge part of lesson 4. And then lesson 5, 6 lessons total. Lesson 5 is hope, which is the suicide prevention piece of giving them the resources. So if you are feeling this way, this is where you can go. This is who you can reach out to. The resources that are available. We have the suicide prevention hotline that we have them put it right in their phone, and just a lot of resources from CDC and NAMI and mentalhealth.gov of how to help themselves and how to help others. And so does that answer your second question that you had?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think the first question, I'm trying to remember the first question
The
was.
first, yep, no worries. I'll repeat it. So as a parent who has a teenage daughter and as an adult who is just around other teen kids, what are some of those things that we can watch for?
Change.
The signals.
Yeah, change in their behavior, change in their sleep patterns, change where they're sleeping more, sleeping less, eating habits, secluding themselves. I mean, there are so many warning signs of, and there's lots of resources out there that, if you go to any website, type in warning signs for suicidal or depression, there's lots. Drinking, partying, making poor choices, not caring about their decisions, and talking about suicide, like saying things like, my life doesn't matter, it'd be better if I wasn't here, those things. But a lot of, and the thing I just really want to say is that in years past, there's been a feeling, a thought that if I ask my child if they're feeling suicidal, and they're not, I'm going to put it in their head, and then they're going to decide to do this because I'm the one that brought it up, or and that's been something, and that is not true. Research has shown that just by asking straight out, are you okay? Are you thinking about suicide? They'll be relieved, because there's been this shame, this, oh, get over it, and pick yourself up, and you have it so good. So many other kids would do anything to have your life, things like that. Make youth not want to reach out. And so research is showing that the best thing that you can ask is, are you feeling suicidal? And I know that's hard. It's difficult. I mean, even when I've asked students, are you feeling suicidal? I had to force it out of myself. But I've seen that they're either relieved to have someone that can see that they are struggling, or if they say, no, I'm not, they at least know that if they are ever in that place, that they can come back to me and talk to me. And so it's just about talking, being open, and I think I know youth fight that. This is the time in their lives where they're on their phones 24/7, and dads and moms are no longer cool, and they don't want to hug, and they don't want, this is the time that they need it more than anything. But this is it. I mean, I see laughing because I have 3 nieces and 2 nephews. So I've watched the gray hairs on my brother and my sister grow in the last couple years in raising teenagers, because they fight that so much. But it's just constantly asking, if you weren't doing okay, you tell me, right? There's, things like that, because it's they need to know that you care, and they need to know that that you're open, that you're not a closed door if they're struggling.
Well, thank you.
Feel free to charge Isaac for that counseling session. So, any other questions? None on Zoom? Oh.
I have Chuck, yeah, I have one. I said, Chuck, what is the morning club doing, Chuck, and how can we?
Well, yeah,
You hear that, Chuck?
I wanted to mention 2 things. One, when Tasha made her presentation just before the holidays, a number of the Daybreak members were immediately responsive. For example, Jamie Johnson, the president of the Hudson School Board, his comment was, quote, "This is a no-brainer," unquote. He's been very supportive of this. Over time, Judy Freund and I and Dr. Paul McGinnis have formed a little group that is, we're working on trying to find ways in which we can help carry Tasha's message to Rotary in general, not just a couple of clubs in the and we welcome support from anyone and everyone in that effort. And one more thing, and then I'll let maybe Joel Skinner make a comment if he wishes to. My understanding is that the Hudson School District is currently reviewing the program with the intention or with the expectation that they might use it, and if they do, they'll start using it next fall. It's understandably, it's a pretty straightforward process, but it takes time. And I don't think money is an issue. In fact, I think they're aware if money became an issue, I think the Daybreak Rotary would cover it in a snap. I'd welcome any additional help in the Rotary world to help find a way to spread the word through the Rotary world to the many school districts across this country and Canada for that matter too. I'm thinking big. And then I had a conversation yesterday with Joel Skinner, and I won't try to characterize it beyond that, other than maybe let Joel comment.
I think this is a great program. I think it would be wonderful for the Hudson School District. I think Noon Club should be involved with Daybreak.
I totally agree, and I think the rest of the club is shaking their heads. So, and if it's a monetary thing, we likewise, Chuck, would pay for whatever needed to be done. I know firsthand, having teenagers last year and the year before, what Hudson's all about and the challenges that they have, and they are great. So, most definitely. So, what do you need from us, Chuck or Tasha, as a Rotary Club?
Chuck, do you want to chime in on that first, or do you want me to?
Well, I just say at this point, we don't have anything specific other than we welcome involvement. We're trying to, we're basically in a head scratching mode. How can we in fact, Tasha, this performance, this presentation you gave today was significantly improved over the one you gave in November. It's an excellent program.
That's
I
glad
think
to
we
hear,
could,
Chuck.
I think we could use it in our effort to promote your curriculum throughout the Rotary world, or something like it, very much like it. This is a new program, and because of COVID, they've been slowed up considerably, I think, for a year. Um, with more experience and actual use of the curriculum, we'll be in a better position to take the story to other Rotary clubs and other districts. And so I guess I would welcome your involvement, certainly your interest, and we'd like to keep you informed. And at some point, we may have a list of things we would ask you to get more involved in. At $799, I don't think money is a major issue, but there are other potential expenses that might make it difficult for a small school district, for example, to use the program. And so there may be a possibility to do a district grant going further and maybe just raise money through individual Rotarians. I think if you went to the Daybreak Club today and you said, we need $800 quick, there'd be enough people that would just step forward and hand you a check. There's that many people in that club alone that would support this themselves personally. So I'm very thankful for your opportunity, Tasha, to share this with the Noon Club, and we'll keep you informed.
Yeah, that's basically, and thanks, Chuck. Hudson Rotary was my very first time presenting to a Rotary club, so I really didn't know what I was doing. I thought, well, we'll see if this works, and it went so well. But I have learned a lot over the past couple months, and so I'm glad that you thought it's improved. And now I have my husband helping me
Plus,
too.
I'm here.
Yeah, Doug runs the slides. When I started off, I was doing it all myself. And by the time I was done, I was exhausted. So he chimed in and helped.
I'm just moral support.
Yes, but he is a great help. And so yes, so yeah, if we could just keep you posted and just let you know as we're kind of formulating everything, I would love to maybe Isaac, you can either send me email addresses, or we could send out an update that you could send out as a group, however that works. But I know there'll come a time when we would love to have more involvement. So that'd be great.
Okay. Well, to start, we'll be doing that April breakfast for junior achievement, and hopefully they'll reach out to you soon and
Yes.
keep you in the forefront of our thoughts.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah, that's an excellent opportunity to share with the Hudson students outside the school itself. Just
Yes.
typically at the Hudson House. I don't know how we're going to do it in the COVID environment, but typically in the Hudson House with parents and the whole room full of people. Does it maybe you could do it next year as well when that's all behind us.
I love that.
Well,
Do you know?
keep in touch with them.
Do you know, Randy, what provisions they're making for the pandemic and the honors breakfast?
It could potentially be virtual, like this Zoom call.
Okay.
We're hoping we get to be in person, but
might be too early for that. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So thank you very much, Tasha and husband.
Thank you. Yes, Doug. Thank you. Yes.
Stay in touch.
Yes, we will.
We'll be sending you for that junior achievement breakfast from either Isaac and then Ruth Peterman, Cook.
Wonderful. All of that sounds great. Thank you so much.